This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Get in, loser! Mean Girls is now streaming on Paramount Plus. Join Katie Heron as she meets the plastics in Tina Fey's new twist on the modern classic. Get ready for more of the rumors, backstabbing, and jokes you loved from the original movie with some fetch surprises. Rated PG-13. Wear pink and head to ParamountPlus.com to try it free.
Does Monday at the office feel like a storm? Not with Microsoft Copilot. That feeling when Copilot gets everyone up to speed instantly? It's sunny again. When Copilot simplifies complex data so your teams can act, that sun's shining on a beach. And when Copilot uncovers hidden insights, you're on that beach with your people, and you find buried treasure. That's Microsoft Copilot. Learn more at Microsoft.com/AI for all.
Dreaming of a better sleep? Tossing and turning is not your destiny. And Ollie is here to help. Ollie invites you to sink into sweet, sweet slumber to improve your mental and physical health and overall wellness. More than just melatonin, Ollie's ingredients help you unwind your mind for a delightfully dreamy drift off. Sleep is on the way at Ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. We are continuing our Razzies month right here on Keep Watch Pass with a very, very interesting one. In the first week of our Keep Watch Pass Razzie specials, we talked about the worst movie nominees of the 90s. We're moving up a decade to the 2000s, so movies that were released from 2000 to 2009. But we're talking about the worst screenplay nominees. Now, keep in mind, just because a movie is nominated for worst movie doesn't mean that the screenplay was nominated for worst movie or worst screenplay, and vice versa. We're just talking about the worst screenplay nominees. And here to join me on this episode is the love story of my life, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm good. Honestly, people are going to start to think that I'm paying you for these shout-outs.
Wait, you're not?
Shh.
All right, well, here's Carrie. Welcome.
That's better.
Just you wait. There's going to be one day it's like, hey, here's her. Talk. Okay, so when we, or at least when I came up with the ideas for these episodes, and I said, we're screenplay nominees of the 2000s, and you saw the list, at any point did you question if I meant all the nice things I say about you at the beginning of these episodes and wonder what you did to me to make you do these?
I'm not going to lie. I'm looking at this list and I'm like, really? Really? They're hating on so many different franchises and so many different...
Well, the 2000s was really where IP cinema really took over. Like, the intellectual properties were all over the place. And when you think about it, right, Transformers, Star Wars, like, there's so many different properties were in there. And it was the cusp of getting the same characters on your screens. You know, because keep in mind, too, Iron Man came out in 2008. So this is also the cusp of the MCU as well.
I mean, this was a time of like Pinocchio and Cat in the Hat and The Grinch.
Now, keep in mind that Pinocchio is the live action Roberto Benigni movie.
Well,
so, you know. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the worst screenplay nominees of the 2000s at the Razzie Awards and pick 3 of them. A keep, a watch, and a pass. The keep is one where we sit there and go, no, that is a good script. We're good with this. The watch is like, yeah, okay, I'd read it. I'd watch it. I see why, but it's still decent enough. And the pass is when we would just turn the page and go, no. Or we might just actually burn the pages. That's how we feel about that. And keep in mind, too, because we're only talking about the worst screenplay nominees of the 2000s, we had a very limited selection of films to go with because there's only 5 nominees every year. So that's a pool of 50 films from those 10 years. And we're going to start with you, Carrie. What is your keep worst screenplay nominee from the 2000s?
Well, if you know, you know. I am keeping Little Nicky. 1000%. I am actually offended that it made the list.
me and the butterflies would disagree with you, but I digress. We have covered Little Nicky on It's Not That Bad because, of course, we were going to cover Little Nicky because Carrie loves the film, and I get it, right? I get that there are funny moments in the screenplay. I do. I understand it. I would like to understand the words coming out of Adam Sandler's mouth in that film, but that doesn't take away from the screenplay itself.
You know what? It is so well written. It brings together so many different elements, and like, come on, how many special appearances? I mean, Ozzy, come on.
I mean, Rhys Ifans.
Yeah.
It was an absolute gem in that film. Absolutely.
Harvey Keitel.
And they were saving graces of that film. And again, maybe it's because I could not stand Shovel Face's, it's all about the butterflies. Oh yeah.
It was such a great movie. It will always be one of my top favorite movies.
As long as I'm not around to have to watch it with you, we're good. Just watch it when I'm out. You know, if I'm at work, go watch it.
Oh, I do. Why do you think I send you out to the store so often? Like, go for 2 hours.
I have a list of 15 stores I need you to go to for no apparent reason whatsoever. Should take you about an hour and a half. Go. Just go.
Yeah.
Hey, Pantheon listeners, Christian Swain here. You caught me just finishing up some editing on Getting Real with John and Beth. I want to share my first experience with Factor meals for you. I think you'll find this interesting because I bet the same thing happens to you. I had just received my first shipment from Factor Meals the other day, and I was excited to try one of the prepared restaurant quality meals for myself. Anyway, I was working away and noticed it was very late, and it was my night to make dinner. I jumped up and headed to the kitchen, went to grab the ingredients for the dish I was going to make, and realized I was missing a prime ingredient. Well, I could make a run to the store, or I could make one of my new Factor meals. Actually, the choice was easy. I grabbed a cavatappi, an Italian-style pork ragu with garlic broccoli, heated the oven per instructions, and minutes later was enjoying a very delicious, nutritious, and dietitian-approved meal. It really was everything Factor Meals said it would be. No prep, no mess meals. Factor Meals are 100% ready to heat and eat. Take it from me and head to factormeals.com/Pantheon50 and use the code Pantheon50 to get 50% off. That's factormeals.com/Pantheon50 and use the code Pantheon50 to get 50% off. Hey, Pantheon listeners, Christian Swain again with something every podcast listener and music junkie needs to hear. As I'm sure you can guess, I listen to a lot of podcasts. I also listen to a lot of music, so having high-quality headphones and earbuds are absolutely critical to my day. Oh, and I have numerous pairs. In fact, I have a junk drawer of used devices that have bitten the dust, so I've tried them all. Recently, I was sent a pair of earbuds by Raycon, and the first thing I noticed was the cost. Looks like their products are about half the price of other premium brands. Okay, that's cool. And the reviews seem pretty stellar. Okay, checks that box. So I got my Raycon everyday earbuds. A nice packaging to open, and what I immediately noticed were the pack of ear tips for sizing. I'll tell you, I have small ear canals. I know, a flaw. So to see choices for the best fit, especially while exercising, oh yeah. And yes, they were immediately comfortable. Sound quality was great too. Plus, I have 3 EQ options that I love because I like more bass in my music and less in the podcasts. 8 hours of playtime for the battery is great as well. Surround sound, noise canceling, and awareness mode all included. I think I'm in business. And I just realized I've had them in all day. Like I said, super comfortable. Go to buyraycon.com/Pantheon today to get 20% off your Raycon order plus free shipping. That's right. You'll get 20% off and free shipping at buyraycon.com/Pantheon.
Hey, it's Kaylee Cuoco for Priceline. Ready to go to your happy place for a happy price? Well, why didn't you say so? Just download the Priceline app right now and save up to 60% on hotels. So whether it's Cousin Kevin's Kazoo Concert in Kansas City, go Kevin, or Becky's Bachelorette Bash in Bermuda, you never have to miss a trip ever again. So download the Priceline app today. Your savings are waiting.
Go to your happy place for a happy price. Go to your happy price, Priceline.
All right, my keep film is G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra. Now, if you told me that in the same calendar year that a G.I. Joe film would hit the screens and a Transformers film would hit the screens, and that I would like the G.I. Joe film over the Transformers film, I would laugh in your face until I watched the films. And I realized that the G.I. Joe is the superior of the two films. And then if you told me that if a Terminator film would also come out in that same year, and I'd like that more than the other two, then I'd really have a good chuckle. But here we are, and that's the way it worked out. But G.I. Joe, The Rise of Cobra, say what you will about it. You had almost action figure accurate Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, which are the two coolest characters from G.I. Joe. So winner there. Sienna Miller was actually awesome as the Baroness. Rachel Nichols as Scarlet was a ton of fun. It is, however, a very unfortunate waste of a perfectly good Doctor Who in Christopher Eccleston as McCullen/Destro. I can overlook it. But I mean, it's exactly what you want out of a G.I. Joe film, with cool weapons, cool vehicles, and freaking Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow. Like, what more do you want? It's not like they're trying to write freaking, Ice Spartacus. It's G.I. Joe. Yes, Storm Shadow doesn't look like Storm Shadow at this point, right? We do have Dr. Mindbender. That's cool. We eventually get a Destro. That's cool. But it's fun. Enjoy it because it's actually almost comic book accurate. My watch film, and I'm going to defend this, Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Now, this is in the worst screenplay nominees of the 2000s. So I'm going to put an asterisk on this in that, please, for the love of God, take out all the love dialogue between Anakin and Padme. Because there's sand and it gets everywhere.
Isn't it necessary, though? You have to establish
you have to establish the relationship and the budding romance. Can you do it with different words? George Lucas can't write love dialogue. Simple as that. And that's all there is to it. But think about it.
I love you. I know.
That is the most romantic thing he has written. And that works.
It does.
That works.
I love it.
The sand and it gets everywhere. No. But the Jedi battle on Geonosis, the introduction of Jango Fett, even though it's albeit brief, and the expansion of the Boba Fett mythology through that. This is prime Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan too. And you get to see Coruscant, and the storyline is actually decent. So I have a feeling that this film was nominated entirely based on the dialogue between Anakin and Padme. I get it. I understand it. Just overlook it. It's a good film. But what's your watch film?
I have to watch How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Jim Carrey version. You know what? And I know that he has straight up refused to ever do a sequel. I think really hated the character. I mean, you know what? I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that Jim Carrey, of all of the actors, was perfect to pull it off.
Oh, I mean, the man is a walking cartoon to begin with. I get it, right? And, the movie did win some awards. It won for Best Makeup at the Academy Awards. At the Kids' Choice Awards, won for Favorite Movie. Jim Carrey won for Favorite Movie Actor. At the MTV Movie Awards, Jim Carrey won for Best Villain. And at the Saturn Awards, it won for Best Music from James Horner and won for Best Makeup. Again, I don't get the hate on for this film. And the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, they're not around anymore, but they should put their their head in the sand like an ostrich for nominating Taylor Momsen as Cindy Lou Who for Worst Supporting Actress.
Oh, she was so fantastic.
She was absolutely fantastic in this, like, and killing it now with the Pretty Reckless and her band there. But the thing is, like, you have a film that's nominated for all these awards and yet also nominated for the Razzies. I don't get it. I really don't get it, because it takes the original story, the original Dr. Seuss story, and adds that Jim Carrey flair to it that only he can do. And it's a movie masterpiece. It is exactly what you want to go to the theaters to go see. So what they're complaining about, I have no idea whatsoever. But now we get to the worst of the worst here. So your past film from the movies that were nominated for Worst Screenplay in the 2000s. What have you got?
Well, I'm sticking with Jim Carrey, and I don't know why he doesn't throw more hate this way towards the Dumb and Dumberer when Harry Met Lloyd. Actually, he wasn't in this one.
He was not in this one at all.
Still, really? Did we really need this movie?
No.
To happen?
No.
Did this have to take place? Like,
yes, unfortunately, because Hollywood doesn't know any better. Like, the first Dumb and Dumber film. Actually, no, I can't even say it because I don't like it.
Was that necessary even?
No. I don't like it. It's
It's
annoying.
a property that doesn't have to exist.
No, it doesn't. And yet they went back to it, and then they went back to it again. Like, why? Like, we, the movie-going audience, are not that dumb. We don't need to be catered to with Dumb and Dumber almost lets you know that some of the YouTube channels out there are going to exist. and its noisiness and annoyingness. And I say that knowing that our kids watch some of those videos on YouTube, and
They used to. They're
But
pretty good now.
I think we're away from that now, so thank God for that. Okay, my past film is one that I have passed on before when we talked about movies starring recording artists. And I'm passing on Swept Away again because it is that freaking bad. Like, I don't even know why. Like, it's a vanity film. It's like, let's take a classic story, which wasn't that good to begin with anyways, and we're going to take the power couple of Guy Ritchie and Madonna, and we're going to, put them working on this, and we're going to make it as unlikable as freaking possible.
Because we have a bunch of money and we're going to just burn it.
Like, I understand the, not obsession, but the intrigue in a Hollywood couple working on a film together, right? Does it ever really pan out? Usually not. Gigli, for example, right?
Also a contender.
Daredevil. Because, of course, Ben Affleck was with Jennifer Garner at the time. Deep Water, which, of course, Ben Affleck was with Ana de Armas. Basically, it's all Ben Affleck. But, I mean, like...
I was going to say, Adam Sandler has his wife play a role in most of his movies.
But the thing is, and in fairness to Adam Sandler, his wife is not a Hollywood star.
The Kevin Smith rule.
Okay, but again, Jennifer Schwalbach is not a Hollywood megastar, right? That is directors and producers working with their family, and that I always appreciate. It's kind of like whenever Rita Wilson shows up in a Tom Hanks film, right? That's fun and works well. Even though Rita Wilson is a good actress on her own and did make a name for herself, but let's be honest, Bennifer was everywhere.
Is Blake Lively in Ryan Reynolds? Like I'm talking like Deadpool.
Not in Deadpool,
Free Guy,
but they were together in Green Lantern. Now, I think that's where they actually started dating.
That's where they met, though.
That's where they met, exactly.
I mean, after they got married.
No, after they got married, no, I don't think they've actually been in a movie together. But I mean, like, this Madonna is one of the biggest stars at the time. Guy Ritchie is one of the hottest directors at the time. So it's not like they were starring in it, but it was Guy Ritchie directing Madonna, and clearly he didn't direct very well, or working with a horrible script. And that's the thing. The story is hard. There isn't a likable character in this story at all. Go watch for an hour and a half of people you don't like. Not necessarily great filmmaking, but that's just me. Okay, before we go, Carrie, please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and pass films are from movies that were nominated for the Worst Screenplay Award from the 2000s.
Okay, my rundown for 2000 is I am keeping Little Nicky Always and Forever. I am watching The Grinch Stole Christmas at least once a year.
Yeah.
Somewhere between November and December. And I am definitely passing all year, always, on Dumb and Dumberer When Harry Met Lloyd. Because it wasn't necessary.
And I am keeping G.I. Joe The Rise of Cobra. I am watching Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. And I am passing on Swept Away. For the record, by the way, all the sand from Star Wars Episode 2, it came from the beach on Swept Away. So now we know why. Now, dear listeners, thank you for listening to this episode. You guys know the drill. If there is a topic that you want us to cover or a movie that you would like us to talk about on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast, or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out all of our other shows, especially the ones related to our special Razzie month. You can find them all there in the one place. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.